Hello guys, I hope you are doing well and that you're keeping warm. It's very cold here where I am, so I hope you're warm there where you are. Okay, so today we are going to do the subject, object, and verb again. It's the same lesson we did yesterday. We're just going to recap that, and then we're going to do punctuation also at the end of the subject, object, and verb. I received a few emails yesterday that few people aren't quite sure about the subject, object, and verbs in sentences. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to basically recap that, and then we are going to do the punctuation. Like I told you yesterday, on Monday we're going to write a test. It's going to be about, we're going to do a reading comprehension, a prefix and a suffix, your verb, subjects, and objects. This is what we are going to do today. Adverbs, nouns, and punctuation. Okay. If you have any questions regarding that, please ask me and I'll answer you. Okay, hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Fine, thank you. So are we doing this stuff today so we can like revise them for the test or something?
That is exactly what we're going to do. Today we're going to basically do this so we can revise again. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I also have my sister Roxy with me here.
Okay.
She's new.
Okay, she knew. Well, hello, yeah. Roxy.
Hello.
Okay, we will talk again later in the class. Okay, so like I said, any questions you have, please ask me. I will unmute you, and you can also ask me in the chat. My chat is open, so if you're struggling with something and you don't want to ask me in front of everyone, just send me a message privately. Okay, I'm just going to skip this. Okay, so like I said, this is basically almost the same that we did yesterday, but I have different exercises at the end. Okay, and then we're going to do the punctuation also. If there's anything that you're not sure about, ask me. I won't care. Okay, so the basic part of a sentence are the subject and the verb. The subject is normally a noun, a word that names a person, place, or thing. The verb usually follows the subject and identifies an action or state of being. Okay, so and an object is the thing that the action is being done to. Okay. Now, verbs, that one is easy. We did the yesterday. A verb is a word which describes the action in a sentence. It's the doing word, it's the action word. Okay. My examples are still the same. I play soccer quickly. We eat spaghetti. Bob is 7 today. Okay. The regular verbs. We use the regular verbs to talk about the past. So that is basically the past tense. But it isn't that it's an ed after it. That is when the verb completely changes. Okay. Okay, so the next thing that there's not, I didn't put an exercise after this one. We are just going to do the regular verbs again. These are the only irregular verbs that I will ask you. Okay, I won't ask you other irregular verbs. So these are the only ones I will ask you in the test. We do this again, so you will only be, so you won't be stressed over the weekend to learn these stuff. If you do it again and you focus during class, you focus on what I'm telling you, you won't even need to revise it again. Okay. So basically, the only thing that you're going to do is you're going to listen to me, we're going to do it in class, and then you will be fine on Monday for the test. So you won't really need to learn or stuff like that. Maybe you can just scan through the slides again. But otherwise, there's no need to do it again. Okay. So that's why I'm doing it again with you. Okay. That's why we're going to do it again. I'm going to, before we start with the regular verbs, there's a few people that wants to ask me a question. I'm going to just unmute you so you can ask me your question. Okay, Lily.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask you a question, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, me and my sister weren't here yesterday, ma'am. And on Friday as well, ma'am. We had load shedding on yesterday, ma'am. And on Friday we had to go to school. We had to go to school to go get our books, ma'am.
Okay, that is fine. Colton, Lily, I'm going to answer you now. Colton, I don't think it is my side. I think it must be on your side because everyone else can hear me. Lily, you can hear me fine.
Yes, ma'am, I can, ma'am.
Okay, so if you can hear me, I believe it's not on my side. Colton, just see on your side. Okay. Okay, Lily. We did these yesterday. What we're going to do now, we did yesterday, and I will do Friday's work during the week again. Okay. So you
Okay, ma'am.
won't. There's nothing you're going to miss. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. It's a pleasure.
Ma'am?
Colton? Yes.
Ma'am, I wasn't here yesterday, ma'am.
Okay. Like I said, this work that we're going to do now is the exact same work. I didn't finish yesterday all the exercises. So I'm going to
Yes,
recap
ma'am.
this today. Okay. So this is
Ma'am.
basically what I did today also. Okay.
Ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Pleasure. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
so, for the for this irregular verbs thing,
Yes.
are you going to ask us like individually?
Um.
Like
Yes. No.
unmute her, or like choose who you're going to unmute or something like that?
No. What I want you to do, I'm going to explain to you that now. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Guys, I want you to, again, like yesterday, I want you to go and type the irregular verb on the chat box. Okay. You can decide which one you want to type, or you can do it from the top. I will go through with you. Okay. So you can start from the top and just type it in the chat box because spelling is very important. Okay, and remember, irregular verbs are the past tense of the verb, but it's when the verb changes and you don't put an ed at the back. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's start. Okay, the irregular verb of be, the past tense of be is was or were. Was or were. Okay, the next one is bend. I bend something, but yesterday I bent something. The next one, choose. The past tense of choose is chose, yes. Yes, today I cut my hair. Yesterday I what my hair? Cut. That one stays the same. Okay. So remember the irregular verb is either when you put it in past tense is you change the verb entirely. You don't put an ed at the back, or it stays the same. Like this one, like cut. I put that in so you can see if you say a sentence in your head like today I cut my hair, and then you put it in past tense like yesterday I, if you try and put it cut it isn't a word. So then you will hear that it's not, it doesn't sound right, and then you will know that either the verb needs to change or it needs to be put or it stays the same. Okay. Now, oh, sorry. Okay. Do becomes did. Draw becomes drew. Fly becomes flew. Okay. Forget becomes forgot. Forgive becomes forgave. Hold. Hold becomes held. Drive becomes drove. Drink becomes drank. Eat becomes ate. Feel becomes felt. Fight becomes fought. Okay. Like I told you yesterday, remember spelling is so important. So fight becomes fought. Find becomes found. Freeze becomes froze. Give becomes gave. Go becomes went. Today I go to the shop, but yesterday I went to the shop. Okay, that one is important. And today I grow, yesterday I grew. Okay. Are all of you fine with the irregular verbs? Like I told you yesterday, irregular verbs is not something you can understand, it's something you learn. Okay. So, okay, the subject of a sentence. Guys, there were a lot of people not here yesterday, so please focus on what I'm trying to tell you now, and then we're going to do the exercises again, because this is important, okay, for your test. Okay, subject. A subject is a part of a sentence that contains the person or thing performing the action in the sentence. Okay, so that is the person or the thing that is performing the action in a sentence. The coat looks expensive. I told you yesterday that the hint in finding the subject in a sentence is to find the action word, the verb. Find the verb in the sentence. Okay? And then you ask who or what. Okay, so first example sentence that I have here, the coat looks expensive. Okay, so the verb, the action word is looks. So then you go and ask yourself, who or what looks expensive? Okay, then you will see, okay, the coat looks expensive. Are you fine with that? Okay, that is the important part about finding a subject. Okay, the objects in a sentence. Okay, the object in the sentence is located after the verb. So that one answers the question whom or what received the action of the verb. So whom or what received the action of the verb. Jack caught a fish. The verb is caught, so who or what received that caught? The fish. Okay, a fish. The same with our cat caught a mouse. Okay, are all of you fine with that? With the object sentence? Okay, now, okay, this is the most important slide regarding the subject, verb, and object. Okay, because it is basically, it says how you find the subject, verb, and object. Okay, so the subject, who or what performs the action of the verb. The verb is the word that expresses what the action is. And the object is whoever or whatever receives that action, the object. Okay. Okay. Now, all of you find this with the object, subject, and verb. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to go and put on up your hand if you have the answers. Okay. So I want you to take the first sentence, give me the subject, object, and verb in the first sentence. Okay. No one going to answer me. Okay, okay, Lasidi, I'm going to unmute you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The subject is captain.
Okay.
The verb is sang.
Yes.
And the object is pirate ship.
And the object is shanty and pirate ship. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
But it's fine. I won't penalize you if you just put on in one. Okay. For the test on Monday, since we are busy with this, I won't penalize you if you put on in one. Okay. So that is fine. The next one, singing, was his favorite activity.
Ma'am, singing is the verb, ma'am. His is the ma'am. His is the not the subject, ma'am. He is the subject, ma'am, and they an activity, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to explain this one to you. This one is a tricky one. That's why I put it on here. Okay. Okay, so singing is not the verb in this sentence. Was is the verb in this sentence. Singing is the subject and activity is the object. Okay. So the next one I'm going to do for you. Okay, wait, the CD wants to answer me.
No, ma'am, it's a question.
Okay.
Ma'am, how do you identify words when they are placed as verbs, but they are objects or subjects? How do you identify them?
Okay. I'm going to explain to you that now. When we come to number 8, that one is a nice one to explain that. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to explain to you when we come to number 8.
Okay, ma'am.
That's why I put that one in there. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So he also liked feeding his parrot, swashbuckling and pillaging. Okay. So he is the subject. Okay. He is the subject. Liked is the verb. It's the thing done. That one is easy. And then the object is feeding, parrots, swashbuckling, and pillaging. Okay. Now the next one. Soon after the sun, which is the subject, rose. That is the verb. He, which is also the subject, called, verb. His crew to the deck. Those are both objects. Okay. Men assembled. The men is the subject. Assembled is the verb on the deck of the pirate ship. Okay, those are the objects. Like I told you on that slide, it's important to always ask yourself, okay, who or what performs. So we first go to the verb. We're going to search for the action. So on that one, strutted, the number 6, strutted is the verb. So you ask, okay, who or what performs the action? Who strutted? So the captain is the subject. Okay, so strutted is the verb and the deck of the ship is the object. The men, which is the subject, responded, which is the verb. It's the thing that's being done to his orders. That is the object. Some climbed ropes. Some. Again, when we go to that slide and we ask the verb, which is climbed, who or what climbed? Okay, who or what climbed? Then we say some, which is the subject. The object is ropes. Okay, and looked, which is the verb, another verb in the sentence, through telescopes, which is the subject. Others, which is the subject, swung on ropes and nets. Okay, now the next one, number 8. The next ones are, I'm going to explain to you this. Okay, swinging, climbing, and chanting. Those look like verbs, but they are not the verb in this sentence. Okay, why? Because the verb is are. Okay, the verb in this sentence is are. And when you ask yourself, okay, are, who performs that, or what performs that action? Sorry, my tongue, I was tongue-tied. Who or what performs that action? So it's then you will see why it becomes the swinging, climbing, and chanting becomes the subject. Are all important skills for pirates. Okay. Are all important skills for pirates. Does that make more sense? Do you understand that? Okay, I'm just going to go pause this. Okay. Are all of you comfortable with the the subject, object, and verb. Just skip this so we can get to the punctuation before the time is. Okay, up. A few more, sorry. Okay, do you have any questions regarding the subject, verb, and object? Nothing. Okay, so punctuation marks. Why do we have punctuation marks? It's to make it easier to read and to write text. Okay. Punctuation is a mark or marks used in writing sentences and their elements to clarify the meaning. Okay, so it makes it easier to read and write. This is something you know. It's just something you're going to recap for your test on Monday, but it's important because sometimes we forget where we put what, and a question isn't a question without a question mark. Okay, and stuff like that. So we are going to just recap this quickly. So question mark is, we use question marks to ask a question, like, is it cold outside? What do you wear? Okay. To indicate an uncertainty. Okay. You were born in 2007. Sometimes that can also be a normal, like a statement with a full stop. Okay. But you'll never find a sentence like this that's uncertainty. I will never ask you one of those like this. I will also always put it in a text so you can see the context in which it is. Okay. But it's sometimes you use a question mark to indicate an uncertainty. The person that's talking here isn't saying you were born in 2007. They are basically asking. They don't know, so it's like, you were born in 2007. Okay. They expect an answer back. Okay. Now, in a series of questions, like, he's been hospitalized, question mark, why, question mark. Okay. Like the indicate an uncertainty question. In a series of questions, the first one was also to indicate an uncertainty. And then why is a question. Okay. Now, the last one is end attack question. That one is easy. So we have never seen that, have we? Question mark. It's a question. Okay, that one is easy. Any questions regarding question marks? Okay, nothing. Okay, an exclamation mark. We use exclamation marks to express strong feelings or emotions, such as anger, surprise, a raised voice, or shock. Okay, like, ah, there you are. Or we use it to give a command, like, sit down, stop, don't do that. Okay. You will see in the examples of the exclamation mark that sometimes a sentence can either get an exclamation mark or a full stop. But I will explain to you when we get to the exercises. One of the examples, I specifically put that in so you can see when to use an exclamation mark and when to use a full stop, and when you can use both, because it is possible. Okay. Now the next one is a full stop. It's a period. That's easy. We use a full stop at the end of a sentence. If a sentence doesn't get a question mark or exclamation mark, it gets a full stop. If there's not a full stop, it isn't the end of a sentence. Okay. That one is easy and straightforward. But we also use a full stop at the end of an abbreviation, like 7 a.m. Okay. I'm not going to ask you abbreviations on Monday. This is just so you know where do we use full stops. Okay. Okay, so a comma. We use a comma at. Commas are used when we want to pause between sentences. Okay, when we want to pause between sentences. So, I was hungry, so I made myself a sandwich. Okay. It's also when you put two short sentences together. So that example could have been, I was hungry, full stop, I made myself a sandwich, full stop. But we don't write like that. I think when you're older than 10, you begin to write a complete sentence like, I was hungry, comma, so I made myself a sandwich. I was hurt, comma, but I kept on running. Okay. So that's where we use commas, and we also use commas to separate 3 or more items in a list. Okay. Like, I want some candy, comma, chips, and soda. But when you list something, you never put a comma before and. Okay. You never put the comma before and. Like, I want some candy, comma, chips, and soda. If you put a comma before and, the sentence is incorrect. Okay. Any questions regarding a comma? Now, question marks. Okay, quotation marks, sorry guys. Quotation marks. It's also, you can also call it inverted commas. I prefer calling it quotation marks. So that's what I'm going to call it. Okay. We use quotation marks at beginning or end of a sentence. Exactly as, to indicate that it is exactly as it is written. Okay. So, I don't want to eat dinner, said Peter. So, quotation mark, I don't want to eat dinner, quotation mark, said Peter. That is his direct words. Okay. Number 2, direct and indirect speech. She says, quotation mark, I am ill, quotation mark. Any questions around quotation marks? Okay. Now, these next exercises, I want you to please help me with. Put up your hand if you have the answer. I want to know, how does these sentences end? Okay, or you can put it in you can send it to me privately on the chat. There are 3 days. How does it end? No one. Okay. That ends with a full stop. Yes, thank you, Lesedi. Thank you. Okay. Their cat is black. Also a full stop. The next one. Isn't it Monday? Okay. Karina and Roxy.
Roxy would like to answer this one. Ma'am, it's a question mark.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you. Okay. You want to answer that one for me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Help, a clown is chasing me! Exclamation mark, ma'am.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the next one. Do you live in America?
Ma'am,
Hello?
do you live in
Yes,
America? Is a question mark.
that is correct. Thank you so much. Okay, the next one. Homework is boring. Homework is boring. The city?
Homework is boring. I think it's an exclamation mark.
Yeah, I think I put it here as a full stop, but that is one of those that can be either a full stop or an exclamation mark. I think it's important to look at the context in which the sentence is, but if you feel like you're going to yell at someone and tell them, homework is boring, then it can be an exclamation mark.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that one can be an exclamation mark also, but a sentence like there are 3 days left can't have an exclamation mark. So sometimes it's possible to have an exclamation mark and a full stop. Okay. Okay, now the next one. I wonder what time it is.
Ma'am, that's a question mark.
That is a full stop because it isn't something. I'm not asking you what time is it. I'm thinking for myself. I wonder what time is it. I'm not going to ask a question. I'm just wondering. Okay. The next one. Did she do it? Did she do it? Lily?
Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
Did she do it, ma'am? That's a question mark, ma'am.
That is correct. Thank you. Okay. Wow. What is that?
It is a exclamation. It's a exclamation mark.
That is correct. Thank you. Okay, the next one. How many pickles peppers did he pick? How many pickled peppers did he pick? Tando, you want to answer that one for me?
Which one must I answer?
The one that says, how many pickled peppers did he pick?
Ma'am?
Yes.
Oh, how many pickled peppers did he pick? It's a question mark.
That is correct. Thank you. Okay. I am too tired. I am too tired.
That's a full stop, ma'am.
Yes. It is a fact. It's just something that they said. I'm too tired. Thank you. Okay, the next one. I wonder how far the bus goes. What is that?
That is a full stop, ma'am.
That is correct. Thank you.
I learned that from my last mistake.
You see, that is just something. That's practice. The more you
Yeah.
see it, the more we do it. So you learn from the previous one. So that's correct. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Colton. Are you sure that goes there?
Exclamation mark, ma'am.
Are you sure it goes there? How does it sound? Does it sound like an exclamation mark? Or does it sound like a full stop? Or does it sound like a question? Are you sure it goes there?
No, maybe it's a full stop.
It's a question.
Oh, sorry,
Of
ma'am.
course. It is, um, that's why I asked you, are you sure it goes there? Or are you sure about that? Okay,
Yes.
so that's how you hear that it's a question mark. Okay, the next one. I think this may be getting harder. Okay, I think this may be getting harder.
Ma'am, that is a full stop, ma'am.
That is correct. Thank you. Okay, and then the next one. I wonder when this will end.
It's a question mark, ma'am.
That is also full stop. It's the same one that Karina and Roxy did. That one. I wonder what time it is. It's technically, I'm not asking you a question. I'm basically wondering to myself. Okay, I'm not asking you a question. I'm just wondering to myself what time is it? So that's why it's not a question. Okay. Put that down right now. Put that down right now.
Put that down right now is a exclamation mark, ma'am.
Yes, that is an exclamation mark.
Roxy, you should answer more. Okay.
Okay. The next one. Which one is yours? Which one is yours?
Ma'am, which one is yours is a question mark.
Yes, that is a question mark. Okay, let me just find my question mark. Okay, guys, I'm just going to skip to the end here. I see my time is catching up to me again. What a fun assignment. Okay, that is the one I wanted you to see. That can be either a full stop or an exclamation mark. So what a fun assignment can be either full stop or an exclamation mark. If we are just talking and all of us are together and I'm telling you, what a fun assignment, then it will be a full stop. But if you're excited and you want to tell me, what a fun assignment, then it's an exclamation mark. Do you see the difference in the two? Okay. Do any one of you have a question regarding this? I'm going to lower your hands, all of your hands. If you have a question regarding this, when it's an exclamation mark and when it's a full stop, please raise your hand. It is, like I said, it is possible to have either an exclamation mark or a full stop. Normally, you just look at the context in which the sentence is. I will never give you a question like or a sentence like this and tell you to give me an exclamation mark or a full stop like this if it's not in a text or not in context. Okay. And if I give you a sentence like this, you can either put a full stop or an exclamation mark. Are all of you comfortable with the punctuation? No one wants to ask me a question about the punctuation or the subject, object, and verbs. We are not going to do that again. Tomorrow I'm going to continue with the next things. I'm going to give you a. Okay, let me just unmute here. Yeah.
Ma'am, me and Roxy just wanted to say goodbye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. Okay. Sadie.
Ma'am, are we
You-
ever going to do apostrophes?
Yes, we are. We are going to do that next week. It's just not part of the test on Monday. That's why I
Okay,
didn't put
ma'am.
it in. Okay.
Okay.
So it's not in the test. Everything I'm going to do this week is for the test on Monday. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks.
Okay. So thank you guys. Thank you for the class today, and thank you for participating. I will see you again tomorrow, and tomorrow we're going to do a comprehension test, so you can see how I ask questions, so you are comfortable on Monday. And then I will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Have a lovely afternoon.